Hello, everybody, and welcome into this Wednesday evening, May 14th. The current time is 6:27 p.m. Central Time, and I'm Chris Allen here with 270 weather for the 270 area code and beyond. Normally, I do this update in the mornings, about 12 hours earlier than right now. Starting next week, this update is going to start coming to you in the evenings, probably 6, 7 o'clock or so, somewhere in there. But I wanted you to know this that we do have, since I didn't do one this morning, we do have some severe weather potential that is coming our way. And I wanted you to know about it just in case you haven't kept up. Now, first of all, before I get into all that, the reason I didn't do one of these this morning is because my wife, Sheila, had a procedure done. We were at Vanderbilt. Everything was successful. Thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. Everything turned out great. It was just very time consuming. As you know, anytime you have a procedure of any kind done, it's one of those situations where it's hurry up and wait, and wait, and wait. And then during the procedure, wait a little bit longer, a couple of more hours. And then it got on into the evening last night. The doctor said we want to keep her overnight and check her vitals and all of that and just make sure everything's fine before we send you guys back home to Bowling Green. So everything turned out great. Thank you very much for all of your thoughts and prayers. Okay, let's get to the severe weather potential. And let me just say that this is an evolving situation, one that is not like cast in stone necessarily, and one that may not be this outbreak type situation that, of course, some are putting it out that way with the big red letters and big fancy maps and all these kind of things, making it look like it's going to be just a huge deal. Um, it's just, the internet is like that, and there are some people that want to try to scare everybody. And you know that I'm not that way. I'm going to tell you the way I see it right now. And since it is evolving, then there is room for change, either better or worse, depending on how things behave over the next 24 to 36 hours. So, with that caveat in mind, let me show you what the National Weather Service has put out just a little bit ago. I'm going to use their graphics since I haven't been here today to gather much of anything together, but I've looked at their update and I'm going to use that as the update for this. Let me squeeze that in where you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Okay, there is a severe weather threat for tonight north of Bowling Green, but this may not even happen. It's along a warm front that is going to pass through later tonight. As you can see, the timing for this is after 9 p.m. or after 8 p.m. Central into the early morning hours tomorrow morning. Uh, I do think there will be some storms that develop along and ahead of that warm front to the north of it. And some places could see some hail, gusty winds, heavy rain and lightning, but this is not a tornado type situation. This is just elevated thunderstorms along the warm front. So when a warm front lifts like it's going to, it is going to establish what we call the warm air sector over our area and for a big part of the area, not just southern Kentucky and the 270, but the 615, the 364, the 502, the 606, the 859, and even places back west of us like Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, of course. We're going to all be underneath that warm front as it comes in tonight, you can see that the confidence in some strong to severe storms forming overnight tonight is in the medium to almost high category. I do think there will be some developing thunderstorms, and these would be what we call elevated thunderstorms. In other words, that warm fronts lift the air around it. So it's almost like a crane, lifting something heavy. It's going to lift the available moisture along the front, and those thunderstorms will begin to pop. But these are not the kind that are what we call surface based from daytime heating. These will all be mostly elevated thunderstorms. And, most of the time when these develop, they're not severe. There could be, but there is enough instability that we could see a few of those may be severe. So that's why there is a level 1 marginal risk, that dark green area from about Bloomington, Indiana, down to Louisville, Lexington, Owensboro, east of Bowling Green, and then down into eastern Tennessee and parts of Georgia and North Carolina. Okay, so that is for later tonight into early tomorrow morning. If anything does develop, it would not be tornadic. It would be just what you see there: hail, gusty winds, heavy rain, and lightning. Okay, so that is for later tonight, early tomorrow morning. Now let's get into Thursday. Now, much of the day tomorrow is going to be warm and dry, but it's also going to be very humid because we will be underneath that warm air sector. And this is what I mean by an evolving situation. This one is not cast in stone. The setup for tomorrow, if there is enough warm air above us, putting a lid on any rising air, then the threat for severe weather is going to be very low. And therefore, even the Weather Service, their confidence in something developing is low. If you go up right to the middle of their description on the left hand side, you will see they even put there, if storms develop, severe storms will be possible. And there is a significant possibility that storms are unable to develop at all. So what you're seeing on this map may not even happen tomorrow evening into tomorrow night. But don't count on that now. That's just a possibility. If we can get storms to break that cap, to break that lid on the atmosphere, then there's nothing to stop them. And they'll develop quickly, and then they'll just keep going. But right now, the overall confidence in something happening here in southern Kentucky in the 270 tomorrow, Thursday evening, is low. Even though we're right there kind of on the line of a level 1 and level 2 slight risk. So they've painted in that level 2 for us for the possibility that the cap would break, the lid would come off the atmosphere, and we would get strong to severe storms. But that's a big if, okay? If we can keep that lid of warm air over us, then we'll be okay. If something does develop, if the cap breaks, the lid comes off, the main threats would be large hail, because we'll have upper winds that are strong and there's colder air aloft. And when you have those two things, you're going to get some hail. And because of the shearing winds and the way the winds are behaving above us, it's going to keep those water droplets in the cold air up and down. There's going to be a lot of what we call buoyancy, and that's where the molecules and the water droplets can pick up ice and cool, and melt, then cool again and melt and cool again. And when that process just goes over and over again, that's what builds large pieces of ice. So the main threats, if everything starts to pop tomorrow afternoon and evening, would be large hail, damaging straight line winds, heavy rain, and maybe a tornado threat. Maybe. But that's on the lower end of the scale. And as you can see, overall confidence is even on the low end of the scale. But we're painted in anyway, just in case. So all of that tonight, tomorrow leads us to this evolving weather event that looks to happen on Friday. Friday is the day that I'm probably most concerned about. Okay, before I get to that, I forgot about this part. So here is Thursday night. If things start to pop, we're in the 2% chance or probability of a tornado threat here in the Bowling Green area, much of the 270. You start to go along and west of Paducah, Madisonville, Owensboro, up to Louisville. That's a 5% chance. The greater threat or the greatest threat is, as I mentioned, hail. There's a probability, 15% probability of large hail. And where you see the black hatch marks, that means hail could be greater than 2 inches in diameter. In other words, a lot of that buoyancy that I was talking about, longer time for water droplets to freeze, melt, freeze, melt, freeze, melt. And when you get that, it's a snowball effect. Once you do that process, uh, hail could start to grow very large before it comes down to the ground. So we're talking 2 inch diameter hail, golf ball size, or larger. If, but again, low confidence, it's a big if. And then the bottom graphic of this graphic shows potential damaging wind threat. We're in the 15% category. Now let's move ahead to Friday. And this is the day when I'm really more concerned than tonight or tomorrow. As you can see, the overall confidence from the National Weather Service is medium, right there in the middle. That's why I call this an evolving weather situation, not only because of that, but a lot on Friday will be determined by what happens tomorrow. If things stay stable tomorrow, it may not be that difficult on Friday. A lot, but that's a lot of ifs. So don't count on that. I need you to be prepared. Friday, really any of those times, but Friday looks to be really the time you're going to have to pay close attention. This is going to be Friday afternoon and Friday night. As they say here, the timing and exact location will depend on how late Thursday activity develops. In other words, if Thursday starts popping, the lid comes off, and we get strong to severe storms Thursday evening, some of those may continue into Friday morning, and the Friday morning activity would, kind of keep the threat lower because the atmosphere will have already been worked over. But if there's time for the atmosphere to recover between Friday morning and Friday evening, then look out. This is where things could get a little bumpy Friday afternoon and evening. The severe, as it says there, the weaker or non existent first wave likely will allow for stronger storms Friday late afternoon and evening. So if we don't get anything Thursday, what they're saying is we will get something Friday. So it's one of those where it's evolving. That's why I use that word. This is an evolving situation. A lot is contingent on what happens first, second, and then third. What happens third will be the it will come based on what happened first and second. Okay. So as you can see, there is a level 3 enhanced risk, but it takes in Cincinnati, Covington, Indianapolis, Louisville, Owensboro, even Frankfurt, almost to Paducah, places like Poplar Bluff, Cape Girardeau, St. Louis, Mount Vernon, Evansville, Vincennes, Effingham, Terre Haute. That's your level 3 enhanced risk. 4, damaging wind, large and very large hail, and potentially strong tornadoes in that level 3 area. For now, we are in the level 2. All of the 270 is in the level 2 slight risk. Now, that doesn't mean there's that much less of a risk, but it means there's enough of a risk that we're going to have to pay attention. And if the storms overnight tonight don't happen and the storms tomorrow for Thursday don't happen, this on Friday is still going to happen. It's going to happen. So this you can count on. The other ones that I told you about may or may not happen or may not be that strong to severe. But this Friday afternoon, as I mentioned, the exact timing and location will depend on what happens really tomorrow. This is just a guesstimated, if you will, output of where they think the worst of the storms will happen. So download that News 40 weather app and have it with you. Have your weather radio ready to go, turned on, battery powered, just in case you lose power. You're going to need it. Looks like Friday afternoon and Friday night. So the breakdown for this, of course, as you can see, there's your levels. If you don't know the levels of severe weather, marginal, slight, enhanced, moderate, and high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking at a 1 or 2 during those times that I showed you in the graphic. Uh, the highest tornado threat, let me back up, for Friday afternoon and Friday night is in that level 3 orange colored area. But what they're saying is that could change. Again, using the evolving word. This is an evolving situation. It's not set in stone, so we're going to have to pay close attention. I'll do another update like this tomorrow morning. Not sure what time exactly. Tomorrow's going to be a busy day for me. Got a lot going on behind the scenes, but I'll do one of these updates in the morning and we should have hopefully a little clearer, a little more detailed, uh, outlook concerning Friday. All right. But that's it. That's it for now. So let's just all be prepared. This is all about preparedness. This is not about, uh, scaring people or who can be the first to say this is going to happen and who predicted this and oh look at them, wow. This is not about that. Okay. Preparedness, if we can put up all these graphics, people can get on the internet and throw these things up there and they say look here, this is coming and all that. But if you're not prepared, not any of that is just pointless. uh and it will be, it's on there for clicks, likes, and shares. And because I don't care about clicks, likes, and shares, I just care about preparing you for what potentially could happen. And that's what I'm doing. So I just wanted to slip in here very quickly this evening, do this update. It's an evolving situation. So, by that, you need to check back often, and not just with me, but you can have that News 40 weather app. You can download it right there in the corner. Just hold your phone up to that QR code that's right there in the corner. Hold it up there, and it will open your camera. You open the camera, and it will push a link on your screen on your phone while the camera is open, and you touch that link, and it'll take you to where you can download the News 40 weather app, and that way you can be updated anytime and anywhere you go. It will work everywhere around the world. The News 40 weather app. To get your bulletins and alerts, it will do that. I will not do that here. So, those of you that are fans of 270 weather, this is where I sit and explain every day what the weather's going to do. Okay. This is not where you get warnings. In fact, I would not trust the internet at all or social media at all to get your warnings, because it can just get muddied and it can get delayed and it can get really out of sorts. Okay. Because it's social media. It's not meant, it was never set up to be a warning device. You need a warning device in your hand or in your house, like this, a weather radio, which you can get at any Ace hardware store and a lot of other retail outlets, box stores like Walmart, Target, some of those places. Some have these. That's like having an indoor warning siren. Everybody depends on those cows and outdoor warning sirens. They're great, but I wouldn't depend on it because they can malfunction. And there have been cases where they malfunction. And just because you think you can hear it in your house, they're not designed for that. They're designed for people already outdoors so they can come in and find out what's happening. Why is the cowbells, people call it cowbells, why are the sirens going off? Go in, get your device, and find out why. That's what they're designed to do and nothing more. So there could be stuff overnight, there could be stuff tomorrow, but I really, really, really think Friday is going to be our day for everybody. That's everybody is going to have to pay attention and just be ready, be prepared. Okay. All right. That's it for the update. I don't want to hold you any longer than that. Um, I will be back tomorrow on News 40 at 5, 6, and 10. And at that point, we might or might not be covering severe weather, but I can guarantee that Friday night we will. It looks that way. In the meantime, as always, thank you for watching 270 Weather, and thank you for watching News 40. Have a great evening tonight. Sleep tight, and I will see you most likely tomorrow morning right here with this video at 270 Weather. God bless.